Hey, welcome to this episode of the GMB Show. Today, Mike is helping me to co-host this again. What's up, brother?
What's up?
So today, we got the topic of negativity that we're going to focus on. And so basically, all we're going to do is bash on people, and we're just going to just talk about how horrible life is. I'm just kidding, of course. What's up, man? Mr. Positive with me, the Mike Fitch. What's going on, brother? Tell me some good stuff. What's going on with you? Some wonderful stuff. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Man, well, it's I'm in Miami.
Well, there we're done. Drop the
I'm
mic.
in Miami, bro. I've spent the past, almost like over a month at my home in Miami, which is
Rare.
unheard of.
Yeah.
Unheard
crazy.
of.
Well, it's funny because we were just before recording here. We're just talking about you being on the seminar circuit, and you're a popular guy. That's what happens, man. You see, everybody wants to be with the Fitch, but yeah, man, almost a month in Miami for you is almost a record, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. I think over the past 5 years, I think that's a record. Like a month in Miami, and a month in Miami in January. Or excuse me, like December, January, when it's beautiful here. Not that it's not beautiful all year round, but at least in the winter months, you get very low humidity.
Oh, wow.
And still sunshine.
So it's really different than Osaka, Japan, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm watching you drink your like scalding hot coffee, blowing your nose on like the baby blanket.
Well, and you can relate because you've had the experience of staying at my house in the winter, where and just a funny story for all of you listening here. So Mike comes to stay with me. I'm gonna take care of my boy, make sure everything's good. So he comes, stays with me at our house, and so he set up his bed. Everything's going well, and I don't even know. It was like 4 a.m. or something like that. And here kind of you, and I walk in, and I'm like tapping on the door. And Mike wakes up in his bed, and he's got every single piece of clothing that he brought with him on, and his jacket and everything. He's like, dude, I can't figure out how to work the heater. And I was like, oh, man, I feel so bad freezing your ass off over here in Japan.
I've never been so cold in my entire life. And that was the trip where I went to that store and I found those thermal face masks that looked like ninja masks. And I had that on. That's how cold I was.
Dude.
And my hood and the scarf and gloves.
Well, but, looking at it, in a good way, I was toughening you up, man.
I thought that was a hazing process.
That was the hazing process. Welcome, because it's our fraternity, right? We got our fraternity going on. Anyway, I feel so bad, man. My wife did too. She's like, oh God. Anyway, all right, man. Let's get into it. So the topic we're going to be talking about today, as I mentioned, is negativity. It's unfortunately a recurring theme everywhere in the world. I mean, if you look, it's not just being negative, but just everywhere you look, it's out there. You see a lot of this, people bashing on other people, people bashing on themselves, bringing themselves down, and unfortunately looking at a situation in a way that's not very healthy. And so today, kind of want to take a look at how we can move beyond this negativity. And really what we're going to be talking about is in the realm of exercise, movement, and whatnot. Just to kind of start off, we were talking in a previous show about the handstand and how there's some days where the handstand you've got it, and there's some days where you don't. And a lot of people can have those days. They kick up into a handstand, it's not happening, and they'll be like, "What the hell? I can't believe I can't do this." And it doesn't just have to be the handstand; it could be anything out there. Yes, it can be frustrating, and you feel like you're maybe not making progress. But the thing is when you're down on yourself and negative about that, it's just going to carry over, and it's actually going to end up doing, expanding and it's going to cause the rest of your workout to suck even more. And so, maybe Mike, talk a little bit about, because I could talk about this a lot, especially during my one-arm handstand training, when I was having those days where I was just like, what the hell is going on kind of thing. But, we all have it. What are some things that you found in your own practice that have helped you to move beyond this negativity and instead look at things in a positive way, or maybe as a learning experience?
Mm-hmm. Well, you hit on a couple of really great things, Ryan, which is negativity promotes negativity.
Yeah.
And we see it so often to where it becomes this cyclical nature of, shit, I couldn't do that. I was able to do that yesterday. And then now you've kind of introduced this negative aspect to your training, to your skill training. And then your next performance is probably not going to be better. And then the one after that, the more pissed off you get, the next performance is probably not going to get better. So I've really started implementing this process of doing these little check-ins. And this may sound cheesy, but man, I've gotten so consistent with acknowledging every little movement and every little thing, even if it's like a push-up, man, like that was a good push-up. I felt really solid. I felt connected. I felt really in tune with my body. I felt like I was controlling the movement. And I think that's a big thing, is where people, it's so common for people to tune out, to completely disconnect from their body.
Yep.
And I want to do the exact opposite, which is just encourage everyone to literally tune in. And that doesn't just mean when you're going for it, like, man, I'm going to try, I've never done this movement before, I'm going to go for it. It doesn't mean getting mentally ready for that. It means for any movement that you experience the movement in your body. And what I really love doing, especially now in my practice, is I'll start back at the most regressed version of any exercise as part of my warm-up. And I'll literally take a one-step progression all the way up until I get to my practice exercise. And if that day I can't get to my practice exercise and I stop at one regression before, then I'm like, guess what? That's cool. That's where my body needs to train today. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to acknowledge it and appreciate it. And then next time I train that pattern, maybe I'll be able to go 2 steps forward.
Yes.
But I think it's those little check-ins of just going, you know what? Today may not be where I thought that I was going to be when I had this whole perception or this whole idea of what my workout was going to be today. Because guess what? Sometimes your body is not at the same level that you are cognitively. And and you can have all these expectations for what you're going to do that day. But like we had mentioned before, there are so many factors that play roles in your performance that you just have to work with them versus allowing them to be roadblocks.
Absolutely, man. There's a couple things that I want to say about that is being positive with yourself. And it's interesting that you said that, because and this is going to sound silly, and people will be like, what? But maybe it's because I have kids. I'm not sure. But whenever I'm training, when I do something that was kind of like, wow, that was pretty good, I tell myself, and what I say the same thing, good job, Ryan. And it sounds silly, but I'm constantly telling myself this. And it's not like I'm just trying to build myself up, but it's like, it doesn't have to be perfect, or maybe not a very like high level thing. It's just whatever I did just then was like, hey, that was really good, man, good job. That is creating this positive framework in order to build upon. And just like what you said, and the second thing I want to say is setting yourself up for success for that day. And you don't want to do that by just jumping into this high level movement that you're after for that day, right? So like you said, you start off maybe with the most basic movement. You start going from there. And then you check and you figure out, am I ready for that day? Maybe you're not. That's totally cool. But thing is, I always liked, when I was doing my one-arm handstands, and the thing that really helped me the most from a day-to-day basis, because I was doing this twice a day for 3 months, every single day, was always ending on a positive. And so I wouldn't go to the point where, I would maybe get into this handstand and I would lose it. And I kept losing it. No, I would end on a positive. But there were days, though, that I would have to pull back slightly, because I knew if I would go further, then it would all go to pot and I would lose it for that day. So having that awareness in my body and knowing that, okay, this is a good place for me to stop today. And then I would stop. And to be honest, it kind of like, kept me going, because if I had kept going and going and going and going, I'd probably been exhausted and the next day have a really crappy workout anyway. But, telling yourself, good job, or letting yourself know that it was a good job when you did something, setting yourself up for success and then ending on a positive has been something that's really kept me going. And I still do this to the day, that, and after this, when I work out, that's just how I do it. It's listening to my body, not something else too. Sorry, I'm going.
Go for it. Go chase it. Go.
Is not, what's a good way to say this? Expectations. Kind of getting rid of expectations. Having goals and working towards things that you want, but not expecting that you should be able to do it or you have to do something.
That's it.
And I think if you can do that, then you can take your place, or you can set yourself up to take yourself to a better place, both physically and mentally, and get rid of some of that negativity that's going on.
Dude, that's brilliant. And there's so much to that, especially when you think about our bodies are such amazing, miraculous units and machines, and there are so many subsystems that have to line up perfectly that are autonomic that we don't even think about. And guess what? Sometimes all of those incredibly complex intrinsic systems sometimes don't line up with what you thought you were going to do that day. Like your idea of how you're going to have your six-pack abs, or how you're going to be, do the best trick at the bar when you did your one-arm handstand or whatever. Sometimes all those other factors that we don't have to even think about, luckily, because our body does them anyway, sometimes maybe they don't line up with what our expectations are. So sometimes we need to take a back seat and go, all right, you know what, my body is way smarter than I am consciously. Maybe I need to listen to it. Just going off of what you were saying, man, I've started putting into this practice something that I've been doing every day that I train. And this has changed my outlook on training so much, and just acknowledging those little bits of success, acknowledging success. So what I've been doing is I get up at the most ungodly hour every morning. So, I'm usually, and I get up and I hit the ground running. I do my best work in the morning. I'll usually crank out a couple hours of work first thing in the morning, and then I'll go train.
And that's what drove me crazy when we were in San Diego, because your ass was up so early, ready to go. Sorry, brother. Keep going.
So what I've been doing, and I'll come back from my training session, and I'll usually eat because I usually train fasted, and that's a whole other story. But I'll usually eat when I come back, and then I'll lay down. And I'll lay down for about a half an hour. And the intention is to meditate. But really the intention is to reflect. And so this is something I do right after my training. I'll lay there, and I'll go just step by step, go through the entire training session and acknowledge the successful points, and then maybe think about the things that maybe they didn't meet my expectations, and maybe take those apart and look at, okay, what were some of the factors that may have affected that? And, and it's not like getting down and going, oh man, I did this right or did this wrong. No, it's just going back and acknowledging the success of what was good and what felt great, and then thinking objectively about some of the things that maybe didn't meet my expectations. But all while doing that, focusing on my breath, focusing on allowing my body to be nourished by the food that I just took in, like just going back and being in my body. So not only the performance part, but also the reflective part of that as well.
And this is so good. I mean, we're getting really deep, and we could make a whole nother show just about this. But when you go back and reflect on what's going on in your mind, when you have those experiences again, and you're focusing on the breath and the awareness, you're setting yourself up, like I said before, for success for the next session. And so looking at what happened, or maybe what didn't happen, but not looking at it in a negative way. Just accepting the fact that it happened, and understanding that next time this is possibly something that could happen. So when that happens, here's what you can do. And setting yourself up that way is something that I've used so many different times in my gymnastics for competition, as well as in my judo competitions as well. And so, again, this is kind of going, and it doesn't have to be competition, because you can look at it for each session if that's really what you want to do. But there's so many times where people workout, they're done, and they don't even think about it. And then they show up for their next thing and they try something and they don't understand why they can't do something. When it's similar to maybe, I remember going to a lecture when I was in university here, I guess in the United States, say college, here in Japan, and I would go to the lecture, and it was in Japanese, right? And so I would listen to it, we'd be taking notes, and right after class, I would always go to the library, I would sit down, and I would organize my notes and write things down because it was fresh in my mind. So the next time I had to go back and look over those notes, get ready for the test, I was ready. And this reminds me of what you're talking about, is after your session, reflecting on what happened, the positives and the things that didn't happen, but don't look at them in a negative way. Look at them as a way to improve and learn from. And so I think that if more of us could do this, we'd be, moving to this higher level more efficiently, therefore faster, and likewise learn more about ourselves. And on a very deep level, understanding that it's not about moving up to that higher level, but reflecting on where you are right now and focusing on that journey. So very, very deep thing there. But I think it does reflect about the negativity. Let's just throw it out there, ego. Talked about this again, or we talked about it earlier in another show that we did, but getting rid of that ego and understanding that this is where I'm at. And this is a good place, It's not good, it's not bad. It is what it is.
It is what it is. And that's something that I always like to mention at the beginning of any of my workshops that I teach is we're all going to be bad at things today. And I encourage you to embrace it.
Yeah.
I encourage you to embrace being awkward and uncoordinated and embrace laughing at yourself because your body's not reacting the way that you think it should. And we're all left our egos in this big stinking bag outside of the door full of just jackass egos that rule so much of our life. If we get rid of that and we separate ourselves from that, then the learning process can truly take place.
Yes.
And so just separating ourselves from the ego, and just like you said, it's not good, it's not bad, it's where I am today. And I've always, as cheesy as it is, I've always liked that idea of we'll meet you where you are today.
Yeah.
And I know that can be like a yogic thing or in whatever other discipline, but I love that idea because it's neither good nor bad, it just is.
It is.
And going back to what we were saying before is just having the power to acknowledge that and not get frustrated by it. Just acknowledge it for what it is and acknowledge it as something that's almost like a badge. It's like, cool, I just experienced that thing, neither good nor bad. It just was. And guess what? It's a building block to get better because our body strives off of repetition. So the more that you experience movement, the more that you experience skill practice, the more you experience a different style of weight training, our body strives to become more efficient at any given task that's consistent. Absolutely. So just going in and experience repetition, our body thrives off of repetition. If you go in and you get angry and you're not where you're supposed to be and you try to go even harder, then again, your body's like, you know what? That's not good information, man. I'm not going to adapt to this new challenge because you're giving me stuff that's distorted. And that can be distorted mentally. It can also be distorted physically.
Now, something you brought up, what I like, and it reminded me of what I say during seminars, and it's a joke that I use, is the phrase, embrace the suck. And a lot of people, when they hear me say this for the first time, what they think is like, oh, hardcore, you've got to embrace that hard, raw, got to do it thing. But what I'm referring to is the fact that we have got to suck at things and learn from that in order to progress. So you can't just jump into a movement and expect to be at a elite level of doing something. No, here's something you're gonna suck in the beginning, and that is a very, very cool thing, because you can learn from it. But if you don't learn from it, then you're missing out. And so embrace that suck and really focus on learning what is going on with it. Don't tell yourself, oh, I suck, I should quit. It's not that. No, it's you suck, so you should keep at it and learn from it. That's a good
Yeah.
thing. You know, every day I want to suck more. That sounds horrible, but wow. Okay. Anyway, yeah. With my movements, I'm constantly looking at where I am sucking in the movements, so that I can focus on those little parts to get better, instead of, oh crap, I can't do it. No, why can't you do it? You know, and maybe, you know, there's so many different factors going on. Maybe it's because you got to try it more than once, you know. Maybe it's just because it's that day, you know. Maybe you're freezing your balls off because it's cold in Japan and you're not warmed up, you know. So there's a lot of different things, but when that negativity kind of starts to slip in there, it's not just in your practice. It carries over into everything you do. You know, if you have a crappy workout session, I guarantee that afterwards it's going to carry over into your communication with whomever you might be speaking with. You might take it out on your wife, your kids. You might kick your dog. I hope you don't. But this carries with us, and so, you know, understanding, just like what you said, Mike, you know, it is what it is. And leave it, but learn from it. I think that if we could do more of this, we're all going to be better. And here's the thing. I look at my practice as not just for those particular skills that I'm working on right now. My practice is for everything else that I'm doing in life too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if I can focus on being better and embracing that suck in my practice, I want it to hopefully, you know, prepare me and mold me to become a better person for everything else. Because the real reason that I'm practicing and doing all this stuff isn't just for me. It's for everyone else out there. You know, it's for the people I love. You know, it's, you know, for you as you know, my mentor and my close friend, and being better for you and everyone else there and everybody who listens to this show. That's where it's about. And so take a look at really why you're doing what you're doing when you're doing these movements. And that hopefully will help you to kind of reframe for maybe when you do slip into a negative pattern, and to help get you out of it. So,
and you brought up a bunch of great points, and you know, one of the things that always pops into my mind is that humility factor of, again, why are we doing this? What is the overall goal? How is this serving us? How is this serving the rest of the people that we come in contact with? And the thing that always comes up in my mind is, one, you're really good at this, Ryan. You always have that play aspect to the way that you train. And one of the phrases I always like to say is, keep the child's mind and leave the ego behind.
Nice.
And that's that idea of, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, like, no matter what else is going on today, guess what? My session is going to kick ass because I'm going to have a good time. And you do that all the time.
Well, and I'm sorry to interrupt, you know, one of my favorite phrases is, the best surfer is the one having the most fun out there.
The other part of that is, and this is something that's just been ruling my universe right now, is just the idea of to train to last. And the idea of training today for the person that you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, because we have the option, we have the full option and capability of getting better at who we are and in our bodies. And we have to realize that it's not just a linear path, that we're not just going to continue to get better every single day. We're going to have days where we're really good. We're going to have days where we're shit. We're going to have days where we take a couple steps forward, a couple steps back. And we just have to embrace every one of those days, which is the same thing that I say at my seminars as well, which is go be bad at things.
Yes.
You know, go be bad at things, because when you get to go and experience new things, same thing as embracing the suck. When you get to go and be bad at new things, your body on a physiological level is doing all kinds of amazing things. Your motor cortex in your brain is experiencing, it's getting excitement, it's getting stimulated. Your body is going through all these exchanges chemically and neurally, and all of those things keep us alive, man. That's our life force. Learning new things. You know, stagnation is death in so many ways. And so to be able to continue to learn new things will excite that process of cognition, as well as just the way that we experience and navigate our environment on a day-to-day basis.
I love it. So much good stuff in there. I mean, and so many people say, oh, it's the journey that matters. And yeah, it is. But I mean, it's deeper than that. It's just what you said. And I love what you said about the child, focus on the child and leave the ego behind and the play. So I think if we can focus more on that, I'd like to see, personally, I would like to see more people doing that instead of, that expectation of if it has to be some way or it should be some way, leaving that behind, looking at more as a play and the opportunity to get to explore and use your body in a way that maybe you never even thought of before. Even if you're having a crappy day, step on the mat, get going, explore. It is what it is. Just enjoy the process. And so hopefully that is a way that can help you to look at negativity in a different way.
Let's hit on other people's negativity.
Yeah, we might as well. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. The haters.
So I think we should start with a public service announcement.
All right,
and
do
just
it.
Say, hey, everyone out there, stop wasting your time and energy being a dick. I can only imagine that it's much easier to just be cool.
Yes.
To just be a bunch of Fonzies.
Yeah.
Just be cool, man. I mean, because the time that it takes you to make a dick comment on a video or a tutorial that someone put out just for free, just so everyone else can enjoy it, the time that it takes to just write an asshole comment on that could easily be, used either unfriending that person or unfollowing, or maybe making your own tutorial on how you would do it differently.
Wow, there's a concept. Now, obviously, everybody, this is something that Mike and I, just to let you know, it's the first time we talked about this publicly, I believe, actually.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's hilarious because, you and I have been close friends for quite a while now, and it's just funny how we could give a shit, really, right? Okay? Hey, Ryan, yeah, that sucks. Okay, great. Well, whatever, dude. Instead of telling me, show me. How can you make it better?
That's not the best way to teach a muscle up. Well, guess what? There are a million ways to teach a muscle up.
That's right.
Why don't you make a video of your way?
Yes, exactly. Because really, this is kind of how I look at it. Movement, for some reason, and even that terminology, movement, I think it's hilarious. I have a great movement every single day. Okay. But when we talk about moving our bodies through space, it reminds me, in my way, of music, okay? There's only a certain number of ways the body can move. It's similar to music, right? We've got these notes. How we put those movements together is our expression of those notes. So in essence, it's our song. So maybe I'll play the guitar a different way. You know what? That's my way of playing the fucking guitar. If you don't like it, you can, I won't say what I want to say, but, that's fine. But Mike and I really appreciate the fact that you don't like it. But for those of you who are haters and have the negativity and try and bring other people down, listen, you need a hug. That's really what it is. You just need a big hug. And to take this consideration, there are times, and I usually don't comment on anybody when they write something negative on Facebook or whatnot, but there was one time, and someone posted something and they said, I don't like it. And I was like, okay, totally cool, that's fine. But it turned into this lengthy discussion. And me, I don't argue with people. Like, for example, this particular person was like, "Oh, you're gay," and one of my comments was like, "Well, are you talking about in the happy sense?" And I was just, having kind of fun. But it turned out that this person really just kind of needed a friend, and they were just kind of reaching out. So, I mean, this kind of negativity as well, if you happen to be a person who is new to the internet in terms of being a coach, in terms of being an instructor who's putting material out there, this is for you. This isn't just the kind of people who, excuse me, I'm spitting everywhere. This isn't just the people who are watching the kind of tutorials, but if you're in the fitness world and you're putting out tutorials and putting yourself out there in public, I gotta let you know, don't take things personally, because these kind of people, the people out there that throw these negative comments and whatnot, really, they don't matter. They don't matter at all. And the only way they matter is if you let them matter.
Yep.
And so here's another good thing, though, that I learned a while back. The more people comment about how they don't like something of yours just simply means that you're getting popular.
That's true.
And that's a good thing. And, you know, the life is not all roses. There are people out there who are not going to like what you do, and that's perfectly fine. Spend your time focusing on the people that matter to you and the people that you can help. And the rest of the people, they can F off. So
that's right.
That's my feeling on the topic there.
And I think that's a great topic that you brought up, as far as if you are someone who's getting into the field, as far as creating your own tutorials and putting your own information out there. The amount of love that you will get from people telling you that you changed their life, or that you helped them get their first pull-up, push-up, whatever. The amount of energy that you get from that is so extraordinary. And on the other side of that, if you let it, one negative comment can be absolutely poison that poisons every other beautiful comment on there, and it can change your entire day.
Yep.
So
if you let it,
if you let it, that's what I'm saying. So if you let it, so you have to create this system, and it's different for every single person. It's different for me as it is for Ryan, but you have to create some sort of system for you that doesn't allow that to penetrate your overall message and your path or your journey or whatever it is. For me, it was always just neutralizing it. Yeah. So if someone said something really shitty, then it would just be like, oh, okay, cool. That's a great opinion.
Yep.
You know, check out this, or maybe check out this, or maybe show me how you would do it differently. Yes. And that doesn't have to be passive aggressive. It can literally be like, cool, this is a conversation that you opened up that may be an opportunity for all of us to learn together. So let's do it. And usually if you don't add gasoline to it, then you can figure out how to neutralize it right away. If you go back and continue the fight, continue the argument, then I guarantee it's just going to get worse, and it's going to turn, and it's not going to help anyone out. Yeah. So just figure out what your coping or your strategy is, and maybe try a couple of different things. But the biggest thing is take all of that good energy that's coming in and magnify it.
Yes.
Take all of that shitty negativity and minimize it. Throw it behind you. Throw it in the trash can.
And something else too along those lines is surround yourself also with good people. So like, you know, the two of us, you know, and then also Al Cavadlo, and there's so many great people out there, you know, our mentors. And, you know, and I say mentor because it's, okay, maybe equal kind of thing, but the thing is I'm always looking up to you for what you're doing, because I gain information from you and this positive energy. And these are the kind of people that you need in your life. And so, you know, again, if you are starting off in this field, it's not you against everyone out there. It's not. And I think this is something that unfortunately we see a lot of. It's, oh, my system is better than your system. It's kind of like that martial art bullshit that always happens. My sensei is better than your sensei. No, it's just a different kind of whatever thing out there. And I think, you know, you and I and Al, and I keep bringing up Al, just such a good guy, but we get that. It's not us against them. It's what can we do to help try improve this movement idea out there, the way that we can improve our bodies. And, you know, if you come to G&B and you don't like it, you know, that is perfectly fun. I want to help you and maybe introduce you to somewhere else, you know, to Mike stuff, to Al stuff, maybe, you know, Ryan Ford for parkour, or the Tap Brothers for parkour, you know, Yuval for, one-arm handstands or whatnot, because there's so many good people out there and doing, positive, wonderful stuff, that it doesn't have to be us against here. And so if you are also one of those people that feels that you need to leave a negative comment, you're not doing anybody a favor.
Mm-mm.
It's whatever, because we don't really give a shit.
It's
But,
true.
yeah. So do find, though, that something that you enjoy doing. Stick with it and enjoy it. We gotta enjoy it. There's no reason to be an asshole and be negative all the time. Life is just too short.
And just to tag on to what you were saying, I'm a huge advocate of that idea that we're all stronger together.
Yes.
And
yes.
we're seeing that there's a big shift especially in the presenter world.
Absolutely.
To where it used to be the old guard was it's my way and only my way. Now we're starting to see where people like yourself and I and Al and the other people in our community is that we're creating allies.
Yes.
John Wolf and the On It team. Absolutely. And all those guys, we're creating allies, because that's it. We are all stronger together, but even more importantly, our bodies are far too complex to just say there's one system that does it all.
Absolutely.
That is bullshit.
Yes.
That is bullshit.
Yeah.
Our bodies are far too complex. It takes a multidisciplinary approach, and the greatest truth that I've come to accept over the past couple of years, having seen so many great programs and so many bad programs, is that guess what? It all works.
Yep.
For the right person, for the right amount of time, it all works.
Absolutely, man. It's dead on. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't, right? And I like to say all the time, so many people will like bash on Zumba or something. Mm-hmm. Here's my thought on that. If it gets a person up off of the couch and gets them moving, and if that person loves to show up for Zumba class and enjoys it, it's awesome. That's awesome. What it is. That to me is just amazing. And so, you won't hear me bashing on any particular group at all. Just because if it helps that single person, and just like what you're saying before, I don't care about all the haters. It's that one person that sends me a message and says, "Thank you so much. I finally got it," or I understand now, or something. That's what I'm after. That's what matters to me. That's really what matters.
And it could be the best program in the entire world. Just to go back to that, you can have the best, most sound program in the entire world, but guess what? If you don't enjoy it and you don't actually do it, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So someone could give you the best program and you're like, I don't like this. But maybe you do like Zumba, and that gets you going. You get to dance your ass off, and you get to have a great time, and you do it 3 or 4 times a week. Guess what? That's successful. That program works for you. You can say whatever you want about it, but if that works for someone, that works for somebody.
That's right.
So that's it, man. It's all about having fun, enjoying what you're doing, and still continuing to explore and try new things like we were talking about earlier, and getting that positivity and love, man, because that's why we do it, right, Ryan? That's why we do it.
That's it. That is why we do it. This particular show, I mean, this is an interesting one. I mean, because we are still kind of holding back a bit, but the thing is, I think it's good that we kind of got this out in public, aired our laundry there a little bit. Let us know what you think. I'm always interested in hearing from people. I don't have this wall in front where I shut everything out. I do, because I learn from other people. I don't think I have all the answers. I know I don't have all the answers. All I have are the experiences and the love of my friends and the people that I admire, that I learn from. So I would love to hear from all of you out there. What do you think about this topic of negativity and some other ways that, or methods that you use to help you stay positive and enjoy life, because that's where it's about. So until next time, Mike, any final words?
Don't hate, congratulate.
There you go, brother. All right, everybody. Until next time, stay positive. Cheers.
Peace.
For more great info, join us over at gmb.io. And be sure to check us out on iTunes and YouTube.